Which Avenger will sacrifice everything to stop a killer? And can Storm survive the arena and the Morlocks from her past? This is the moment where the old guard falls, so the new era can rise up from the ashes. Hey now, lore keepers, and welcome back. We're charging full steam out of the shortest month of the year, and man, February 2004 left the building with enough energy to level a skyscraper. This is episode 16, and we're diving headfirst into the finale of the February 2004 arc. The board was absolutely vibrating this month as we hit some of the biggest milestones in the modern era. The real heavy hitter is the debut of the first family in the Ultimate Fantastic Four #1, a bold high concept reimagining that provided the Ultimate Universe could handle cosmic states just as well as the street level grid. We're also looking at Amazing Spider-Man 502, where JMS takes a breather from the high stakes heroics to give us an incredible grounded look at the secret world of people who keep superheroes looking good. We're checking in on the mounting tensions in Avengers 76 as the team begins to fracture before the coming storm. And we're witnessing the surreal threats facing the team in the Uncanny X-Men 436. This month wasn't just about big numbers, it's about the fundamental shifts in the Marvel mythos. There's no time to waste, so before we jump into this monumental mayhem, do your fellow fanatics a favor, smash that support, lavish some love on that like button, and subscribe for some of the most superb superhero stories on the planet. Alright, true believers, let's kick things off with a journey into the unknown in the Amazing Spider-Man 502. Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 1, Issue 502. We kick things off with Peter and MJ enjoying a quiet dinner, but even a romantic evening can't escape the pull of heroics. As MJ contemplates rekindling her modeling career, a high-speed chase outside their window yanks Peter back into action. Our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man suits up, leaving MJ with a promise to wait for her, no matter how far her career takes her. Just another night in the life of a superhero, right? Meanwhile, we're introduced to Leo Zielinski, a character who's about to drop a major bomb in Spider-Man's world. This isn't just some random bystander. Leo is observing the chase with a knowing eye, heading back to his tailor shop where a deadly assassin named Killshot is waiting. And it turns out Leo isn't just any tailor. He crafts costumes for the super-powered community, heroes and villains alike. He's clearly conflicted as he later discusses Killshot's sinister intentions with his grandson. And despite his grandson's pleas, it seems Leo is initially resigned to his fate, but his conscience is clearly nagging him. It's not long before his moral compass points him in Spider-Man's direction. And in a move that's classic Spidey, Leo tracks down our hero and they end up having a clandestine meeting in a deli. Leo spills the beans on Killshot's assassination plot and even throws a costume critique in for good measure, suggesting a mouthpiece for Spider-Man's mask. Talk about a versatile tailor. Peter absorbs all the intel and heads home and hilariously tries to imagine himself with the mouthpiece, only to conjure up a rather unsettling image of Venom instead. The next day, Spidey swoops in and foils Killshot's assassination attempt on the district attorney, but the crafty villain creates a diversion, putting a window cleaner in peril, allowing Killshot to escape. Killshot then makes a beeline for Leo's shop, aiming for Leo's grandson, but Leo, being the stand-up guy he is, takes the bullet for his kin. Spidey crashes the party, webs up Killshot, and then receives a parting gift from Leo, a design for a new costume. And get this, lore keepers, it's the very same suit worn by the future Spider-Man from Amazing Spider-Man number 500. How's that for a glimpse into the future? What do you think, fellow fanatics? Ready to dive into another classic Spidey tale? The Avengers, Volume 3, Issue 76. Omni-Archivist, this issue starts with a moment of unsettling normalcy. Cassie Lang, the daughter of Ant-Man, is in the schoolyard using her inherited knowledge to school some bullies by detailing the terror of fire ants. This seemingly innocuous scene is shattered when a man approaches claiming to be picking up his daughter, a red flag that quickly reveals his truly sinister intentions. Back at the Avengers mansion, the rest of the team is locked into a fierce debate over who is the biggest liability, the recently mind-controlled She-Hulk or the unstable Jack of Hearts. Ant-Man is passionately arguing for Jack's removal, labeling him a dangerous wild card. Just as the hero walks into the room moments before, he's due to enter the Zero Room for stabilization. After a tense stare-down between the two, Jack quickly concedes and pieces out. Tells Captain America to do whatever he needs to keep the team safe. Before Scott Lang can head to the roof to apologize for his harsh words, he's hit with the disturbing message: Cassie is missing. With Jack of Hearts silently following, Ant-Man races to find his daughter. The trail leads him to Charles Cooley, a broken man who, in a horrific twist, is revealed to have murdered his own daughter and is now projecting his twisted ideas of purity and innocence onto Cassie. She's being held at gunpoint in an abandoned apartment while Cooley rants off the rails. Suddenly, a subtle smile crosses Cassie's face as ants go full tilt from the walls at her command. Cooley manages to wing Ant-Man in the shoulder, but before he can deliver a final fatal blow, a distracting swarm of bees attacks, allowing Scott to level the gun and scream that he's finally tired of people taking his daughter away from him. The standoff is interrupted by a big boom that tears open the wall, signaling the dramatic arrival of Jack of Hearts. The hero, ever the moral compass despite his unstable nature, talks a raging Ant-Man down from executing the killer. But the moment Jack turns to leave, Cooley reaches for the gun again, a fatal mistake. Jack swiftly and brutally wrecks his hand. Grabbing the killer, Jack of Hearts looks back at his teammate and says he finally understands what it all means. It's about making the world safe no matter the personal cost. Comic Collective, in his final definitive act, Jack declares, "I am an Avenger, so I am avenging," says a quiet goodbye, and skedaddles into the blackness of space with Cooley in tow. Silver Surfer, Volume 5, Issue 4. True believers, the Silver Surfer's chaotic arrival in Coastal City ignites a dark conspiracy and brings immediate, painful consequences. The psychic shockwave wakes Denise Walters, who's now in Gwynedd, Wales, where locals warn her she's being used. Facing the high stakes and knowing her own history, Denise takes a massive dose of drugs to amplify her abilities and force the psychic connection Acheron demanded. The action immediately shifts to Gabe in an alien facility on the dark side of the moon. Here he's suspended undergoing an agonizing alien modification, and the aliens note that his psychic energy is too high, so his physical body must be altered. The Silver Surfer's prior actions are cited as the cause for this transformation, with the alien Amnel stating that Silver Surfer knew Gabe would have to have this reaction. Now Gabe is in agony, bearing down against the pain and struggling to endure the mental intrusion. The aliens have provided a companion, Denise's own missing daughter Ellie, and Ellie appears to him in a psychic link to the physical preservation facility in Dr. Yedlin's zoo to help him adjust. Ellie reveals a much larger purpose to the operation. The aliens are collecting genetic seeds on Earth's endangered animals in case they disappear. The children are, therefore, part of an alien preservation project, while Ellie serving as both companion and data link. Denise's gamble works, but the outcome is terrifying. The drug-induced breakthrough gives her a psychic vision of her daughter Ellie running in distress because Gabe told her she would never see her mother again. Knowing that her daughter is a victim in an alien cosmic preservation scheme, Denise attempts to reach Acheron with the vital new clues. However, Acheron himself has already abruptly left Wales, giving his assistant a thank you note and a departure ticket for Denise. Denise ignores the ticket and remains in the hotel, alone with the cryptic references to seeds and Dr. Yedlin's zoo. She has taken the first step towards figuring out the conspiracy herself, now armed with the knowledge that her daughter is the key part of an alien arc. Comic Crusaders, the Surfer's good intentions have landed an innocent boy in a moon prison, and Denise's institutionalized past gives her a unique insight to save them. Denise Walters is now the only hope to save them both and expose the alien threat. X-treme X-men, Volume 1, Issue 38. True believers, the Tokyo Arena is now the site of a brutal showdown. Callisto, the former Morlock leader, stands over Storm demanding she accepts a challenge that would forfeit the entire arena's servitude if she refuses. As the flashback reveals, this isn't just a challenge, it's revenge. Years ago, the powerful mutant group known as the Morlocks held the X-Men hostage under the streets of Manhattan. Their leader, Callisto, was challenged by Storm to duel for the lives of the X-Men in Uncanny X-Men number 170. Storm won their freedom in the Morlocks' leadership, sinking her blade deep into Callisto's heart. In the present, Callisto unleashes the torrent of 100 razor-sharp blades hidden in her outfit, slicing deep into Storm's left bicep. The true villain steps out of the shadows. It's Masque. And this is a huge surprise, fellow fanatics, as Masque was supposedly killed by Shatterstar in X-Force number 9, and until this point had always been shown as a man. Masque, who also somehow now has the power to change his own appearance, begins a demonstration, placing his hands on Storm's face and reshaping her appearance into a beaked dinosaur, throwing Aurora to the floor in agony. Masque announces that most of the combatants will be sold as slaves, crushing promoter Koga's protest with the silent threat of her own powerful entourage member, Paradise. Storm makes a desperate sacrifice play, allowing Yukio and the others to escape. Masque transforms Storm's face back, leans down and kisses her on the lips. Suddenly, boils burst out all over Aurora's skin, and black smoke tethers to hundreds of tiny heads, Storm's inner demons. This sequence is a direct reference to the devastation caused by the destruction of an entire nation of their people on the island of Genosha, an event detailed in New X-Men number 115. Masque reveals his plan to bring forth every vision that seems glorious and noble, and then turn Storm over to the mutant torturer Purge to make her hate those visions. The final act is a brutal test of Storm's reserve. Masque forces a seemingly mind-wiped Storm back into the arena to fight, forcing her to confront the dark side she now feels alive with. When her opponent's helmet comes off, Storm realizes it's Yukio. Masque narrates to the cheering crowd how this Storm is ruthless enough to murder her friend. Even as the Devil Cat, Storm drops her weapon and screams, "No!" Masque proudly tells the terrified agent that they will eventually break Storm's spirit. And just like they did with Calypso, whose ordeal was also seen in Uncanny X-Men 259 and 263, Comic Crusaders, a simple duel for leadership has turned into a horrific mind game involving the death of a former villain and the near-breaking of a goddess. Uncanny X-Men, Volume 1, Issue 436. True believers, we kick off in a media res after Juggernaut and She-Hulk. By the way, not our She-Hulk. She's the alternate reality Jennifer Walters from She-Hulk number 21, vacationing in our reality from Earth 721. Anyway, a new Juggernaut wearing the classic armor smashes through the hotel wall and announces his arrival with a menacing and simple phrase. Cytorix sends his regards. Kane Marco is furious. He kicks Satoric's butt to break free, and now the evil deity is simply handing the power out to some imposter? Kane and Jennifer rush him, but this new Juggernaut is different. He bats Kane away like a fly. Jennifer's signature gamma-powered fist just bounces off, leaving her hands sore. While holding the imposter down, Kane boasts that the new guy doesn't have his experience. But the new Juggernaut only smiles. He doesn't need experience. He only needs to be stronger. He then digs his fingers into Kane's chest, promising to pull his ribs out and stomp on his heart. As Kane cries out in pain, She-Hulk comes to the rescue by driving a car right through the side of the room and slamming it into the fighting Juggernauts. Jennifer instantly recognizes they're outmatched, but Kane, being Kane, never runs from a fight. Jen furiously reminds him that he no longer has powers and that they need strategy. But Kane shouts back that he already has one. Simply kick his butt from here to Westchester. Meanwhile, Kane's stepbrother, Professor Charles Xavier, and his lawyer Jack White are in a fierce meeting with Canadian government agent Miss Ishikawa, who previously appeared as Miss Shinagawa. Go figure. Ishikawa, a government agent whose claim about Canada needs the prestige for capturing Juggernaut, it's highly contrived, declares that Kane is beyond redemption due to his long violent record and the $428 million in property damage he caused in Vancouver. Fellow fanatics, the battle and the courtroom drama collide, while Kane ignores Jennifer's frantic legal advice, driving a lamppost like a bat into the new Juggernaut and tearing up the neighborhood. Jen unleashes a verbal assault. She calls Kane a moron and realizes that she's the bigger idiot for believing his puppy dog charm and helping him get out of jail, only for him to turn around and destroy the lives of innocent people. She shouts that the best thing for everyone here is to be locked away forever. Just when Kane puts his hands over her mouth and screams the unexpected, he's asking for her help. Back in the office, Jack White is about to give up, but suddenly the witnesses arrive. Sammy Squid Boy Paré and his mother. Sammy's mother sits down and reveals the horrifying truth. She reported her abusive husband numerous times, but the police told her to honor her husband and work it out. She was never protected until the Juggernaut man came and stopped her husband. She is terrified that Kane is locked away, they'll be sent back to the abuser. This forces Ishikawa to confront her legal hubris. Back on the street, Kane asks Jennifer to hit the new Juggernaut in the face as he rips the helmet off. The imposter cries out, "Not in the face! Not without the helmet!" As the man shrinks in size, Kane realizes the truth. It's just a boy. An angry kid he knew who used to torture animals in Xavier's yard, wearing a muscle suit. Back in her office, Ishikawa concedes to a plea bargain and extradition, providing Kane agrees to pay for damages and undergo court-monitored therapy. As Jack White notes, Kane Marco's trial is just beginning, hinting that this struggle for redemption is a far tougher fight than he's faced before. Comic Crusaders, a legal system failed, a criminal delivered justice, and a new kind of hero was born. Where does Kane go from there? Venom, Volume 1, Issue 9. As night descends, Logan, still staggering, notices the Ararat Corporation ship touching down. Inside, Ancient Vic and Frankie locate the symbiote, who is in a weakened, transitive state. They boast about achieving their destiny, becoming the new hosts since the nuke cleared out everyone else. But as they exit the ship in the power armor, Patricia Robertson drops her ruse. Meanwhile, Logan, reeling from a weird, unhealed wound on his chest, catches the scent of two agents and instantly snaps into berserker rage. Vic and Frankie track the signal to a partially destroyed house, figuring the alien is hiding in the cellar. But they miss the suit grabbing an axe from the front yard, a mistake they won't live to regret. The first massive twist hits when Frankie opens the cellar, eager to bond. Instead, the symbiote bursts out, having survived the nuclear blast by bonding to a swarm of cockroaches. Manifesting a terrifying humanoid form, the symbiote instantly kills Frankie. As Vic flees back to the ship, the suit ambushes her with the axe, incapacitates her, and then electrocutes her. The suit, whose survival and competence is already suspect, boards the ship, knocks Robertson unconscious, and prepares a horrific surprise. Logan, confused by the corpses of the cockroach swarm, is instantly ambushed by Fred, which is clinging to a tree. The alien cocoons him and gleefully bonds to him. Robertson wakes up to discover the suit shaved her head and attached Vic's control collar to her. As she furiously shoves him, demanding an explanation, the ceiling explodes. Venomized Wolverine wastes no time promptly impaling the suit from behind and cutting him to pieces as he carves a hole in the ship's wall. The symbiote mockingly states that it likes Robertson's new look before reminding her it enjoys reminiscing about killing her comrades. Before she can grab the suit's phone, the symbiote tosses her aside. But wait, there's another twist. A second Ararat Corporation ship attacks. It blasts the venomized Wolverine with a flamethrower, and out step, get this, a second Vic and Frankie ready to fight and achieve for their destiny. Comic Crusaders, we've got a killer cockroach symbiote, a venomized Wolverine, and a cloning conspiracy. The fight is just beginning, and we're strapped in. The Ultimate Fantastic Four, Volume 1, Issue 1. 21 years ago, Gary Richard and his wife welcomed their first child, Reed. From the start, Reed's mind burned brighter than most, but brilliance rarely wins popularity contests. By the time he was 11, Reed was the smartest student in Midtown Middle School, and that made him a target. Bullies shoved his face into the toilet until Ben Grimm, star quarterback with a heart of gold, scared them off and walked Reed home. Reed promised to help him with his trig, but what he really wanted to show him was his project in the garage, a homemade teleportation device cobbled together from scrap. His bratty sister Enid barged in, demanding a turn once it worked, and Reed reluctantly agreed just to quiet her. That night, a sonic boom and a blinding flash shook the house. His parents rushed in, his father berating him as a burden and grounding him for daring to dream. 6 months later, Reed carries out his dream in Midtown Science Fair. Before the skeptical classmates and teachers, he made a toy car vanish into what he called the end zone. Whether it's truly crossed dimensions or simply disappeared, Reed didn't know, but the spectacle was enough. After school, a government agent named Lumpkin appeared at the Richards' door, offering money to transfer Reed into a Manhattan think tank. Hungry for cash, his parents agreed. Reed was whisked away to the Baxter Building, where Dr. Franklin Storm introduced him to his children, Susan and Johnny, and to a project that mirrored Reed's own obsession, a teleportation device aimed at piercing the end zone. The Baxter team had never reached the barrier, but they had received something back, a small toy truck. Reed's truck. Proof that his science experiment had reached farther than he'd imagined. Standing in the gleaming lab surrounded by minds that finally spoke his language, Reed felt awe and vindication. His invention wasn't just a parlor trick, it was a doorway. The boy who had been mocked, grounded, and dismissed now saw his ideas reflected in steel and circuitry validated by the brightest minds in the city. With wide eyes and a single word, Reed Richards gave voice to the moment that would define him. Fantastic. Mystique, Volume 1, Issue 9. Short Pack is wigging out. The pint-sized psychic is pacing like a hamster on hot coals, blasting the mental switchboard for backup. The professor's gotta know. Mystique's been ghost for hours on a mission to snatch a virus that makes the stars look like a sneeze in the breeze. He swears that she didn't bail, she's in trouble, and mutters that this feels like Prudence in Moscow all over again. And why does the universe always drop the dirty work on his watch? Relief hits when Mystique staggers through the door, body glitching like bad cable, infection chewing her up. She snaps that she doesn't look like a doctor when Short Pack presses her. And when his laptop scanner flashes Murray Valley encephalitis, an Aussie bug that shouldn't even be here, she laughs that it wasn't a mosquito that jumped her. It was a mutant calling herself the host, a walking petri dish who iced Dr. Taylor and boosted the bioweapon. Mystique tagged her before collapsing, and now she's dead set on finishing the job. Short Pack protests, but she's delirious. Her body's flickering like a busted neon sign, and if she doesn't crash out, she could simply slip into a coma. Mystique fires back that she doesn't have time to stop, or the host and half of South Africa could be toast, and cracks that little population control wouldn't be the worst thing. She insists that she's healing fast and even flexing into Wolverine's form to growl for coordinates. Short Pack caves, warning her to strap on Forge's biometric shield watch. He tracks the beacon down and curses that the host is already burning rubber down R-24 towards the airport. Mystique morphs into a young woman, bolts outside, and jacks a motorbike. With Short Pack feeding her directions, she rockets down the highway, launches off a turnpike, and crash lands on the host's BMW. The car fishtails, airbags popping, and Mystique steadies her ride, shield humming. She snarls that she hates being sick, decks the host when she coughs at her, and mocks that her germs are useless against Forge's tech. The host rages that she doesn't control viruses, she just speaks to them, giving voice to their voices, and vows to unleash smallpox on the world. And Mystique lunges, but the host boots her hard, bragging that she doesn't need germs, her body's built like a tank. She rips the metal from her car, ready to give the beat down to Mystique. Mystique taunts her that, killing her would just kill the bugs inside of her, forcing the host to draw them out, healing Mystique in the process. Mystique smirks and asks if she's immune to Toyotas as well. And right on cue, a Toyota slams into her. Mystique drags the host off the road, scoops the virus, and strolls away as the cops swarm. But the host isn't done. She hacks on one officer with a cough, drops another with his own gun, and hijacks their cruiser, dispatch ordering her back to the Gold Reef Hotel. Mystique limps into the room, cracking that she wrecked her bike, and tells Short Pack to order champagne while she takes a bath, thinking the worst is behind her. She's wrong. In the bathroom, the host is already waiting. Short Pack is held hostage, eyes cold, voice sharp, demanding the virus in exchange for his life. X-treme X-men, Volume 1, Issue 39. Omnifans, the arena circuit is now moving into a frenzy. In the London arena, Storm and Callisto face off against 5 champions from around the world. The mutants pay top dollar to see the women with a reputation as the best, and they get their money's worth. Callisto shows off her newly acquired deadly martial arts skills, gasping a flurry of razor-sharp quills from her opponent, Quill, and then hurling them right back. Storm takes down the speedster Dervish by calling on rain to soften the ground, but she's quickly ambushed by Lariat and Lamprey, who try to suck her life force away. In a final desperate move, Storm unleashed lightning bolts that sends competitors sprawling, leaving the 2 X-women standing tall. The celebration moves to a mansion under the shadow of Big Ben. While Storm walks the floor drinking and laughing, Callisto is pressed against a wall, subject to the unwelcome touch of the fans. Behind closed doors, Masque and the rotund slave master Tulliver Vogue are negotiating. Fellow fanatic, Storm first met and earned Vogue's ire when she and her X-Men interfered with his slave ring in Uncanny X-Men 383 through 385. Now Vogue holds a hologram of Aurora, insisting he will pay any price for her, purely to get revenge. Masque, with the help of Paradise's psychic talons, makes the deal and then gloats to Storm. Vogue insisted on only her, ensuring that she will never taste freedom again. The farewell tour continues, taking Storm and Callisto to Hong Kong, Rio, Riyadh, and finally Las Vegas. And in every fight, the two allies converse in secret. Masque is furious when she realizes her prized possessions don't have live mics because Storm's electrical interference. And these stolen moments, they formulate a plan to build a secret army that could one day surpass the X-Men. Masque, thinking their spirits are finally crushed, commands Poster Boy to ship the package to Vogue. That's when promoter Kogo walks in, backing up his treacherous words with a shocking gesture. He brings back the entire missing Tokyo Arena combatants, including Yokio, as a gift. Masque, feeling triumphant, commands Storm, with Callisto watching in horror, to prove her obedience by killing Yukio. Storm complies, slicing Yukio's throat with a razor blade and standing over her fallen friend. But the betrayal was a ruse. Once Masque and Paradise left with seemingly broken prisoners, Yukio awakens. She reveals that Storm purposely cut the vein that would be the messiest, yet leave no lasting harm. It's time to rock and roll. Outside, Storm knocks Paradise cold, and the final battle begins. Callisto joins her side, and they effortlessly defeat the rest of the arena mutants who are fighting scared. Storm uses the wind to send Masque skewered on a nearby door, trapped by glass shards. Callisto steps up and tells the screaming villain that they are champions, which makes them rich, and rejects Masque's bribe for getting her arms back. In a final painful act, Callisto picks up a glass shard and warns Masque about her own appendages, and a blood-curdling "No!" echoes across the Las Vegas plaza. Storm made a deal with Vogue after all. Masque is the new package. Back in Tokyo, Storm, Callisto, and Yukio celebrate having successfully formed the nucleus of a new mutant army ready to fight for a world where women with tentacles can be considered human like anyone else. Panel pundits, the arena's broken, the slave master got punked, and Storm proved that even a goddess needs to play dirty to save the world. And that's a wrap on February of 2004. We've seen the dawn of a new age with the ultimate Fantastic Four origin, felt the cosmic weight of the Silver Surfer, and survived the biohazards of the Avengers Red Zone. We've even navigated the infamous morning after for the Juggernaut and the She-Hulk in the pages of Uncanny. But don't go anywhere, we're crossing the threshold into March and the tone is about to shift. Next time, Frank Castle goes dark in the first ever Punisher Max, Logan faces the literal end of his life, and Grant Morrison takes the X-Men 150 years into the dying future. The winter thaw is coming, but the stories are only getting colder. We'll see you in March, Part 1. And get ready for more seismic stories and staggering showdowns. And don't forget to dash that bell, delve into the details, drop your definitive declarations down below, and discover the next dimension with us. Here's the titles we'll be covering next episode. We'll be seeing you next episode. Same ordered time, same ordered omnibus.